Good evening and welcome to our Thursday evening 10 o'clock vigil. It is good to have your company at this late hour. So let us just begin by taking a deep breath. And just relax as you breathe out. And as you breathe in again, and now breathe out and just relax. And just sense the peace around you where you are. And just continue with the rhythm of your own breathing as we just center ourselves and we place our bare feet on the floor, allowing the love, the energetic, healing love from Mother Earth, that love that helps generate all the beautiful foliage, even the grass in your garden, the trees on the mountains, the flow of the rivers, and the animals grazing there. Feel that love flow up through your feet and be still and relax. We begin with one reflection, one of two, and this is from Jesus Now by Brantz and Korja. And it's called Religion Under Judgment. In Luke 16, verse 11, we read, "If then you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will entrust to you the true riches?" And our reflection is, many citizens of this society may be credited for the advancement and progress of what is called the Christian religion. They have built the institutions and financed the programs that have been responsible for the spread of the gospel around the globe. Yet even they do not escape the judgment of the Father, Mother God. Their vision has often been short-sighted, their efforts short-circuited by their adoption of Christ's teachings and promises and their utilization of his gifts for their own personal benefit, even at the expense of others with whom they were expected to share those teachings and gifts. They sing God's praises, many of them, but they have not committed themselves to his purposes. They have laid claim to their material security and prosperity in Jesus' name, and have allowed their religious institutions to become private clubs for their own comfort and consolation. They have created snug harbors to protect themselves from the storms of life that rage throughout the world. They attempt to protect their way of life, irrespective of the suffering and injustice which this may entail. God has not given up on them. They struggle with temptation and risk damnation because they focus upon the temporal society and the acquisition of the world's material goods. They are in constant danger of losing their souls. There are, however, prophets in their midst, men and women who have learned to seek first God's kingdom and to use their gifts for his purposes, who are challenging the faithful to sacrificial service in Christ's name. The church people of this generation should listen to them. They cannot be the beloved children of God without being the servant and disciples of Jesus Christ. And we stop there. They cannot be the beloved children of God without being the servant and disciples of Jesus Christ. Profound words. And yet we are aware, aren't we, of various scandals that have hit various churches where vicars or priests or religious have gone off at the deep end and lived by double standards. But we're not here to sit in judgment on them. And yet many do. I remember, a number of years ago when I was in Ireland as a nursing monk, when Bishop Casey of Galway was found to be having a relationship with a woman and who fathered a child who went public. I think he was 18, but at the time when it went public, he was in a church in Kerry in Ireland talking to women to save their virginity for marriage and to remain loyal to their husbands. And I know many, many Irish people, devout Irish Catholics, were shocked. Their faith was shaken because the pillar of the church, a dynamic personality, had taken liberties. And it's sad when individuals put so much credence on an individual rather than on God. Of course we're going to have scandals. Of course we're going to have shepherds fall by the wayside. That's history. But in this generation, instead of judging another, which so many do, they run the risk of losing their soul when they become God, when they sit in judgment on another. And I take heart from this present Pope, Pope Francis, for he does not sit in judgment. He leaves that to God and the conscience of the individual. He is a good shepherd. He's a model, emulating the teachings of the Barefoot Galilean and of course his namesake Francis of Assisi. But it's so easy to get caught up in scandal, in gossip, in tit for tat. And it must be difficult today for a lot of priests who are not paedophiles to be able to express friendship by even hugging one of their parishioners, but they run the risk of gossip and slander. Who would want to be a priest today in a busy parish who's not a paedophile, who's a devout man of God, and yet have others criticize them? I know from speaking to some priest friends of mine, it's a great fear they have at the back of their mind. Will their actions be misconstrued? Will they be reported to the bishop? Will they be put under suspicion by the police? How sad. I think the lesson here is to focus on the mindset of God, not on man. To go into prayer and to listen to one's heart and to have the courage to ask Jesus to speak to one. And not to be afraid, like I was for many years, to come into the presence of God. I guess I carried a lot of guilt. I wasn't worthy to come into the presence of God. But now I see that I am, because I'm a child of God. I've been set free from guilt and fear and nonsense. And I voluntarily gave up my life, not under pressure from my family, but I chose this life. Yes, I'm surrounded by temptation, and yes, the internet that I'm using now, well, that's the vehicle I use, guided by God, as part of an online community to bring love and peace and joy and hope. But let us come now to our heart. The heart is our teacher. It is the gateway to our soul, and the soul is the gateway to God. Let us be still in the silence. Let us not be afraid of silence, for it is the language of love, God's love. Or how else can we hear the Lord speak to us if we don't switch off the mobile phone, disconnect the iPad or the iPhone, and come and just sit and be still and ask Jesus to speak to you? And he will, and he does. I came here this evening not knowing what to talk about. I did. It wasn't planned. I just sat here a few minutes before pressing the record button to go live, and I thought, oh Lord, I'm not in the mood for this. I want an early night. I want to go to bed. But that was a negative thought. That was a temptation from the Antichrist. And sometimes I give in. But I'm here. Not under sufferance. I'm here out of joy. But I've come and I'm surrounded by books, beautiful spiritual books, and a collection of the most magnificent music, like the one I'm playing now, which was done for me, 16 years ago by a spiritual musician in Canada. And he does it under prayer to the date of your birth and the time of your birth. And I know the chords have touched many people's lives in the interim years. But I came to this session this evening with a blank mind. And I just asked, please help me. Use these 30 minutes, Lord, for your glory, not mine. Let us reflect now. Let us come to our heart. Let us listen to our heart. What is it saying to you? Use your gift of free will and ask the physician of your soul to come and speak with you. And he will. I'm guided now just to pick up this beautiful book called Eucharistic Adoration, Reflections in the Franciscan Tradition by the beautiful Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. It's just opened on the mirror of eternity. Place your mind before the mirror of eternity. Place your soul in the brilliance of glory. Place your heart in the figure of the divine substance. Wow. And here we're asked to consider. Saint Clare of Assisi wrote to Agnes, place your mind before the mirror of eternity. We may wonder, how can we do that? We may wonder how to calm our minds enough to see the reflection of divine love. One way is to breathe slowly and breathe again slowly and breathe again deeply, focusing without too much effort. Just breathe again and again and again. Believe that the loving presence thrives on stillness. Stillness blossoms into adoration, and adoration longs for loving presence. With longing, place our minds before the mirror of eternity. The world today can be blessed by those who breathe a peaceful vibration into the atmosphere. A distraction could be calling us to take what is coming to mind and bless it so that we can place it before the mirror of eternity. We must breathe now. Breathe again and again. We must be still and place our minds before the mirror of eternity. Let us contemplate. O loving presence, please still my heart so my eyes can see. Still my mind so that my wisdom can come. Still my body so that divine love can grow. Still my desires so that Christ is manifested in the universe. O loving presence, please still my heart so my eyes can see. Still my mind so that wisdom can come to me. Still my body so that divine love can grow. Still my desires so that the universe becomes a mirror of eternity. When you leave adoration, take time to breathe. At the red light in the long grocery line, and so on and so on and so on. When your mind seems cluttered, remember to breathe and bring stillness into your life and into the universe. When you find yourself racing around, breathe and slow your body so adoration can blossom. The mirror of eternity. So we place our mind in the mirror of eternity as we sit in the presence of God, and we invite, we invoke, and we call upon the Lord Christ, who is our teacher, who is our brother and our friend, and who waits for us to ask. And the reason why he doesn't come to those who are worried and anxious is because they don't ask. Ask and you will receive, he said. Seek and you will find, he said. Knock and the door will be opened, Jesus said. What's he saying to you now? Let's listen. What are you feeling in your heart? Lord, you know me through and through. You know when I rise, when I get up, when I go to bed. You know everything about me, and he knows everything about you too. He knows when you're down. Well, he knows when I'm down. He knows when I'm happy and sad, when I'm tired and weary. because I talk to my beloved. Like Thich Nhat calls God his darling. Jesus is our darling. He's our bestest friend. He's our protector, our comforter. He is the physician of our soul. And he asks you, come. Come and trust him. I ask him now to touch you. To touch you and to give you the courage to ask. And not to feel a sense of failure. Surrender your heart to love. But the moment you surrender your heart to God's love is the moment when you're given a whole new meaning to living. You suddenly can see and hear and sense and touch the presence of God all around you. Try it. So in the stillness of this moment, I wish you God's blessing and God's peace. I'm given now to share. I came that you may have life and have it abundantly. I called you by your name. You are mine. I have carved you on the palm of my hand. Know I love you. Wow. I leave you those words. Treasure them. For they're not my words. They're words I was given to share with you by Jesus. And I don't profess to be a holy Joe. If anything, I'm dead ordinary. I'm human. I fall down just like you. And I struggle to get up again, but I do. Because life would not be the same if it were not true to my heart. And my heart belongs to God. Not out of obedience or civility, but out of love, what God has done for me. When I look back on my life, the mistakes I've made, yet he loved me as he loves you. So I wish you a blessed night. Take care and God bless you. And never give up.